The early morning sun cast a warm glow over the lecture hall at the University of Pennsylvania as students settled into their seats. Among them sat Barron Trump, composed and impeccably dressed, known more for his intellect than his presence. At the front of the room, Professor Richard Lawson, a respected calculus instructor with a strong ideological stance, stepped toward the podium. Instead of the usual formulas, the whiteboard displayed a bold statement about redefining academic priorities. Murmurs spread through the room as some students sighed, already expecting another lecture on societal critique. Barron, however, remained silent, his expression unreadable. Dr. Lawson began by asserting that while mathematics was valuable, it should not overshadow broader societal issues. Some students nodded in agreement, while others shifted uncomfortably. Then, Barron raised his hand, his movement subtle but commanding attention. The professor acknowledged him with mild irritation, and Barron, in a calm and deliberate tone, questioned whether shifting the focus away from mathematics would disadvantage all students. His challenge was polite yet firm, making the professor's expression tighten. Dr. Lawson, slightly narrowing his eyes, countered by suggesting that Barron ignored systemic biases. Barron replied that mathematics was unbiased, requiring only understanding. The tension in the room thickened. Dr. Lawson, smirking slightly, decided to put Barron to the test. He turned to the whiteboard and wrote an extremely complex multivariable calculus problem, one far beyond what had been covered in class. With a satisfied expression, he challenged Barron to solve it. A hush fell over the room. Without hesitation, Barron rose from his seat and walked to the board, marker in hand. The students watched, captivated by the unspoken battle unfolding between student and professor. Dr. Lawson crossed his arms, exuding quiet confidence, knowing he had deliberately chosen a problem designed to humiliate, not to test knowledge. Barron studied the equation, tilting his head slightly, as if analyzing a puzzle rather than a challenge. After a long pause, he turned to the professor and asked whether he should use the standard method or a more efficient one based on Euler's original work in German. The room went still. Dr. Lawson's smirk faltered, his confidence briefly shaken. When he asked if Barron had really read Euler's work in German, Barron simply confirmed it, noting that translations often missed the elegance of the methodology. As he wrote on the board, his method diverged from the expected approach. His process was fluid, bypassing unnecessary complexity with elegant shortcuts, making an insurmountable equation appear simple. The students, even those who struggled with calculus, could follow his reasoning. Dr. Lawson's smug demeanor faded as he traced Barron's steps. When Barron finished, he turned back and offered to demonstrate an even more elegant solution. This was no longer a student proving his knowledge, it was a student offering a lesson to his professor. Dr. Lawson, jaw clenched, gave a clipped response, "Continue." Barron completed the problem using an even faster, more refined method. When he stepped back, two solutions stood on the board, both correct, both complete. The room remained silent. Then, from the middle of the hall, a student named Emily hesitantly asked if Barron could explain the last step again, as it helped clarify concepts from the previous week. He agreed with a slight smile. The professor, who had planned to humiliate Barron, now found himself in an uncomfortable position. His students were no longer looking at him, they were looking at Barron. As murmurs spread through the room, Dr. Lawson tried to regain control. He argued that solving an equation did not disprove systemic inequalities in education. Barron agreed but countered that diluting academic rigor did not create equality, only diminished opportunities for everyone. Jacob, a scholarship student, spoke up, stating that he had worked twice as hard as others to keep up, but he had come to the university to prove he could do it, not to make things easier. More students nodded in agreement. Before Dr. Lawson could respond, the lecture hall doors swung open. Dean Thomas Whitaker entered, his authoritative presence commanding immediate attention. He announced that Dr. Lawson was needed for an emergency faculty meeting. The professor, seeing an opportunity to escape, moved toward the door, but Barron spoke again, reminding him that leaving now would teach the wrong lesson about academic integrity. The dean, intrigued, turned to Dr. Lawson and asked if he was avoiding his own challenge. Dr. Lawson, visibly frustrated, was now at the center of attention. Barron then suggested that if academic merit mattered, the professor should solve the problem himself. The students, sensing a rare moment, began recording. Dr. Lawson hesitated. He knew he couldn't solve it as quickly or elegantly as Barron had. Finally, the professor exhaled sharply, muttering that the entire situation was ridiculous. The dean remained neutral, stating that it was about academic integrity. Seeing no way out, Dr. Lawson turned and left. As the door closed behind him, silence lingered before students erupted into applause. Emily broke the tension by asking if they would still learn calculus today. Barron, glancing at the board, asked if anyone wanted to go over the second approach again. Many students nodded, eager to learn. For the next 20 minutes, the classroom transformed. Barron broke the equation down step by step, making it accessible even to those who had struggled before. Emily found herself understanding concepts she had never grasped, and Jacob, once ready to drop the class, now wanted to continue. Dean Whitaker observed quietly, realizing he had witnessed something rare, a student not just proving intelligence but shifting the dynamics of a classroom. As Barron finished, the doors opened again. Dr. Lawson had returned. The applause died instantly as tension filled the room. Instead of lashing out, the professor walked in stiffly, speaking with the dean in hushed tones. After a minute, the dean announced that the class should resume its original purpose, and he invited Barron to assist his peers. After a pause, Barron agreed. Dr. Lawson, his pride wounded, stood silently to the side as Barron continued to teach. When the lesson ended, students approached Barron, thanking him for his clarity. Emily admitted it was the first time she had truly understood the material. Jacob, who had struggled for years, now felt confident. As Barron prepared to leave, Dr. Lawson finally spoke. Acknowledging Barron's talent, he warned that academia wasn't just about knowledge, but about influence and control. Today, Barron had disrupted that balance. However, Barron replied that the system didn't determine what they learned, the students did. The professor said nothing and walked out. Dean Whitaker, amused, remarked that he had never seen Dr. Lawson leave without the last word. He then extended an invitation for Barron to join the university's advanced research group. Barron, however, declined, preferring to focus on helping students first. The dean chuckled, reminding him not to underestimate the power of having a seat at the table. Barron simply nodded, saying he never did. As the remaining students gathered around him, Emily grinned, asking if he would be their next class. Barron gave a small smile. "I'll be here."